Since the announcement from the acting attorney general and Secretary Brooke Rollins about finally enforcing antitrust laws against the meatpackers, my phone has been blowing up. And first, I want to say good, great. That absolutely needs to happen. If companies manipulated markets, colluded, abused their power, or violated antitrust laws, they should be held accountable. Period. But now we need to address the elephant in the room because we have seen this before. They slap them with a massive fine, say $1 billion. Everybody celebrates. The headlines go crazy. And then what happens? These corporations are so large, they absorb the fine, treat it like another business expense, and move right back into business as usual while the American rancher keeps disappearing. That is the elephant in the room nobody wants to talk about. Because yes, enforcing these laws matter, but enforcement alone is not fixing the actual core issue. The core issue is that 4 companies, half of which are foreign-owned, still control roughly 85% of beef processing market in the United States of America. 4 companies, half foreign-owned. Think about how insane that really is. America's protein supply controlled by 4 corporations. And yes, I absolutely believe that is a national security threat. Food security is national security. You can't allow the majority of America's protein supply to become this concentrated and expect long-term stability. And no, the answer is not replacing one monopoly with another. The answer is rebuilding competition. That is exactly what the American Rancher Alliance was built to do. Not take over the entire market, bring competition back to the market. That is a massive difference. The ARA is about decentralizing the beef supply chain and spreading volume back across local and regional processors throughout the United States instead of funneling everything through a handful of massive corporations. Right now, we have already secured shackle space for over 750 head a day, approximately 400,000 pounds of beef per day, and we have not even officially launched yet, or even really started aggressively contracting more space yet because we are doing this strategically. We want to dedicate cattle numbers to local and regional processors throughout the country one by one, helping strengthen and expand processor capacity that has struggled to compete in an increasingly consolidated marketplace dominated by the Big Four. This is not about building another centralized system. This is the exact opposite. It is about rebuilding decentralized infrastructure across America again. And that is the off-ramp. Not another fine, real competition. Now back to what the ARA actually does. On the cattle end, we act as a clearinghouse to facilitate transaction of cattle between producers, from cow-calf to backgrounder to finisher. These are based on market pricing and basically operate very similarly to cattle transactions that are currently marketed and sold through other private companies that facilitate cattle transactions. However, we have an upside to the program. We have technology and a system that tracks the cattle from birth all the way to the grocery store. Through QR technology, consumers can see exactly what ranch raised those cattle, what breed they are, where they were processed, how they were raised, and more. And if that rancher is also a direct-to-consumer producer, their contact information to purchase beef shares directly from them can also be found attached to that package of beef. Now think about how powerful that is. For the first time in decades, consumers can reconnect directly to the people producing their food. Not a marketing gimmick, not fake labeling, real transparency. And we go even further. The beef is tested for hormones, antibiotics, and glyphosate residues. So you know what you are feeding your family is clean American beef. After the cattle are finished, the ARA purchases the cattle from the finisher and sends them to the processors to be processed. The beef is graded, and that carcass data goes back to the producers, something they don't normally see unless they are a direct-to-consumer producer. That information matters. It helps producers improve genetics, improve consistency, and improve profitability long term. Where the beef was processed is also attached directly to the package. Then the beef goes to the American grocery store or restaurant to be sold to you with labeling that connects you directly to that animal. You scan the QR code, enter the batch number on the package, and it pulls up the information behind that beef: where it came from, who raised it, how it was raised, where it was processed. That is transparency, real transparency. Now, here is where the ARA goes a step further. The margins made from the sale of the beef do not disappear to outside corporate shareholders. The bills are paid, our American workers are paid, the processors are paid, and the remaining profits go back to the producers in the form of dividends based on the weight and the quality of the carcass they put through the supply chain. That changes everything, because now the producer is no longer surviving on scraps while everybody else profits downstream off their labor. Instead of producers only seeing around 30 cents on the dollar, we move closer to the kind of producer participation that existed decades ago when ranchers actually had leverage in the marketplace. That is how we rebuild rural America. That is how we rebuild competition. Not through billion-dollar fines corporations recover from, through infrastructure, through decentralization, through transparency, and through competition. This is how we take back our market, and we are not stopping. We have incredible people behind this movement, including some of the biggest people in the industry, helping make sure that we build this the exact right way, because we are fighting corporate giants that know exactly what this movement is. Not another headline, not another temporary fine, a real threat to the monopoly system they have spent decades building. Not a fine, the off-ramp. And now we are asking the American people to stand with us. We have officially launched a sponsorship campaign that includes free beef for a year for sponsors helping support this movement and helping us rebuild competition back into the American food system. We are also opening what will likely be a one-time founding investment opportunity that will only be available for a very small group of people, or potentially even just one person. Because what we are building is not just another business. This is infrastructure. This is food security. This is rebuilding the American rancher. If you want to become a sponsor, learn about founding investment opportunity, or stand with American Rancher Alliance, go to goarabeef.org. You can also contact the ARA directly through the website, by phone, or email. And to everybody already standing with us, thank you for standing with the American rancher, because this fight is far from over. But for the first time in a very long time, we finally have a real path forward.